Good day, people. How are you? I know the light ain't too good in here. You really can't see me. Again, this your host, Man D. We back with the Grown Man podcast. Uh, we back on air. We've been on hiatus for a few weeks, but we back. We had to kind of move around with a little dead weight, but we back. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in to us. I have some better lighting for y'all next time. But I just want to touch down with y'all and let y'all know uh, this isn't gonna stop. This is never stopping. There are things that are pertinent to our community that we need to really expound on that we haven't been talking about. And man, this is really the place that we get to express the things that's important to us. I hope y'all can hear me out there. I know y'all can't see me very well. I'll adjust that um, next week. Uh, so again, I thank you for tuning in to us. Uh, Tonight's topic is about reclaiming the family and how we can do those things. Because again, that is very needed right now, especially now with all the stuff that's going on. Definitely in the melanated people's community. So we want to thank y'all for tuning in to us. Few things I want to touch on though. We've had some situations to whereas there's been a lot of violence taking place in the city. We kind of on high alert at this point. I think that we as men, we got to take back the streets. Like it's gonna take us to come together and do some things that's be in a different place with this thing. Like it's getting real hectic. A 15-year-old boy at Simeon was kind of uh, he was murdered actually, and it's sad that we have to deal with these things. Like I thought we were done with a lot of this stuff. It's getting the year went by fast, and things are progressing into something else, and we need to kind of like take back our community because like it's really out of hand. It's really out of hand at this point. So we need to really like get our men together. I think no one is going to police our communities, and we have to be the ones who police our communities. Um, we keep looking at the establishment to help us with this thing, and it's just not working. Those ways are not working for us. So we have to be the ones who get together and take care of our own. You know, uh, it's kind of crazy to see the stuff happening. You got children afraid to even attend school at this point. So, I mean, at what point do we say enough is enough? It has to be enough because, like, I have children in school that we have to make sure that they get there safely, and we of course as parents we want we want to think that our children are protected in those places that we send them to. At the same time, it's like you got to be up at arms. You on call for everything. You can't leave your phone at home. You can't be like in a place where you can't be contacted at any moment because so much is happening right now. You want to educate your children to the different things that's going on in the world, but you also have to talk about the safety and the places that you feel like they're learning and they're going to be safe. The violence needs to stop, period. I know we need to like redirect our focus on the things that's happening in this world. Yeah, we all still partying and doing our thing or whatever, but at the same time, we have to think about the things that are important. This violence is getting out of hand and it's crazy, and we need to stop it seriously. Like the only way to stop it is to come together. So, um, with all these distractions that's taking place in the world, and this thing still going on, like even with this jab thing, I think like there's so much emphasis put on that, but why is there not emphasis put on the violence to where it could be halted? Because it can be stopped. Trust me. There are too many ways to stop it, but it's going to take us as men to get back out here. I mean, and educate some of these young brothers. You know, a lot of us know the people who like to keep up the keep up the garbage. Who are hot heads, who quick to run and get that pistol or whatever the case. We need to talk and educate those brothers on our history, because our history as a people, if you can sit down and recognize those things, man, you'll reconsider doing the stuff that you're doing. Uh, so, man, I lose my breath with this because it's crazy. I feel for the families. Condolences to that young man's family, and just my condolences to all the families who lost their their people. It's crazy. Let's stop the violence, y'all. Let's see if we can get some men. Let's get together and see if we can do something about this, man. I mean, I get the marches. I get Father Flager. At least he is on the front line, stepping out and making some type of noise in the community. At the same time, we got to get together and do some things that's going to allow us to proceed and go through something else with this. So we got to operate in a different way. All right. So let's get together and see if we can change our circumstance. It's very pertinent to existence. Gotta excuse that background noise. Gotta excuse the background noise right now. But again, you now attuned to the Grown Man Podcast. I'm your host, Man D. Uh, so we're gonna get right into it. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. We're gonna talk about how we need to reclaim our families. That's what's kind of hurting us as a people. Family is not family anymore. I know, like once said in a few episodes ago that you know we don't we don't operate as family. We don't have family reunions anymore, and these are things that's been hurting us. If you know who your family is, then you can talk to them and get to know the intricacies of their lives and be able to be in a different place. You can kind of influence some of your thoughts. You can influence some of the things that's happening. We're going to take a pause here too. Let me see. Yeah, so family is very important, especially to our community. And we don't have those things in place that allow us to operate out with our family. We got to operate with family. That's very important. The structure of the family has been broken down. There has been a plan in place since, which began in the late 60s, early 70s, that took the man out of the home. So with that, direction became scarce. You got to be in a place to where a woman has to play dual roles. And even though a woman can't be a man, she can also affect her children. No one's there to affect the children. Yeah. They just go misguided and they find their own ways. So the family is very important. We got to reclaim our family back. And I really don't just mean like, okay, if there's not a father in the household, then you have uncles, cousins, you have neighbors, different relatives who had those type of men around that can affect some type of change in your children's lives, or implement some things that you may not be able to. They wanted these things to happen. Those people who want to have totalitarian control. I read a book before. I can't give you the title of the book at this particular time. I'll get that. But they wanted to make dual taxpayers. So if they have women working, and you're the only one in the home. Now you're a dual taxpayer. We tax you on your work, and we tax you when you go to the store and make purchases. And we also have your children for more hours in the day than you do, because again, when you're at work, how can you maintain your household? In essence, you're working to maintain the household because you still got to pay bills, you got to do the things that need to be done in order for you to exist. So it's like, feel like a knife to your neck. I understand how all the mental health and stress has been coming about these days. It's because, there's a lot of pressure on different people. There's a lot of pressure on women, and I will admit to that. My mom was a single mom, and she was doing the best she could to give us a life and provide for us, that so that we had food on the table, we had lights, we had heat in the winter. We had beds to sleep on. She tried to provide the luxuries, just the minimal luxuries that life would allow us to have. And it was hard, being a single mother. So when the opportunities presented themselves and we had to go work and do different things, then that's what it took. It took us to have to do those things. And in order for you to be successful at being a stable household, you had to have camaraderie of others. If you didn't have the camaraderie of others, or the help or respect, then you lack certain things. So when I did have that freedom and got to a certain age, I got out here and started doing things that would allow me to have money, which of course it could be a double-edged sword. It could put me in a place where you lose your life, or you go to prison. Fortunately, those things didn't happen to me. And if there was some consistent guidance, if my father had been there, then maybe those things wouldn't have been experienced to that degree. We all lack in that area, and I could tell you countless stories about single women who are dealing with these things right now. And you have some of those men that they're co-parenting with, and there is no cooperation between the two. There has to be some type of cooperation, because if we don't have that, then we have nothing. We have to co-parent these children. I think that's part of the reason why we have the violence in our community like we have. And it's kind of crazy. We have to do something that allows us to regain the morality within ourselves and in our homes and just our everyday lives. Because again, if we don't, then where are we headed? So It's going to take a village to raise a child, like the old saying says. That is very true. If you don't subscribe to that, then I don't know what to tell you at this point, but it takes a village to raise a child. So much that we can learn from being together as a people. Instead, we all separate and doing whatever it is we do. So family is very important. I remember when I was a child growing up, I was even around my cousins. I was raised with my cousins. We were pretty much raised like brothers and sisters. There wasn't a thing about, okay, well, um, this is not for you, or um, this is not your sister or brother. We had to come together in order for us to, like I said, coexist. So family is definitely one of the things that's missing in our community. And if we don't have family, we don't have anything. So let's get together. Let's start getting together, even with your neighbors, even with the people that you love, and discussing some things that will allow us to thrive. Because family members ain't only by blood. Um, if I see someone in need, I try to be there, even just with my words, because words are power in itself. So even if I'm just sharing some type of insight, whatever, I feel good about that. I have 3 children myself, and I'm always trying to direct them and provide insight and direction. I want them to be who they're meant to be. At the same time, I want them to be equipped with things that would allow them to be productive members of society. I think if every person got out of their emotions and thought about these children and how you apply to their lives, then that's another element of us being in a different place. Um, One of the most important things, or one of the things I remember as a child, is that urge to see my father. Like, I wanted that really bad. And even though I had other male influences around, it's nothing like having your father there. You want the ideal situation of a mother and father being in your life. But sometimes those things are not possible. And you have to go with the narrative. Um, that's very that's a lot of people that's in our community, even in other communities. I won't just narrow it down to the melanated people. Um, we all have situations that we have to deal with, and one of them is being that the home is broken. I commend a lot of the single mothers that's out here that's doing it on their own, but their child is always going to have some things that's lacking because, again, it took two to create the circumstance of being bringing a life into existence. It took two, and it's going to take two to make that life be permanent. So we have to be in a place to whereas we grow. And if you're not growing, then you're stagnant. So family is definitely one of the most important things that we lack, that element, that structure. If you don't have structure in your life, then we lose. So you got to have the structure. It's very important. Ultimately, we are in a place of distress as a people. And so many people don't get along. You have petty differences. You have, well, this person did this to me, and you hold a resentment, and you don't get the opportunity to have conversations that will allow you to get rid of those things. You got to get back to loving one another, because that's one element that we owe each other on this planet. We owe each other love. And we don't share that. We don't have that. You will show more dislike or discontent with your people instead of having a conversation saying, okay, well, this thing happened. I really don't like that or appreciate this. And it has allowed me to get into my feelings. I can't control my emotions. I can't control the things that will help me to grow as a person. So now, how can I put my life with others? How can I get with others to say, okay, we need to operate different. We need to be in a place to whereas we can grow. You can't because you're dealing with elements in yourself. This whole journey starts with self-awareness, growth in self, um, morality in self, um, love of self. Because again, if you don't have those things, then you lack. And if you're lacking some, it won't be, um, there won't be any, no, no, don't sit on me. Yeah, we having a few. I got a few visitors in here right now. Um, anyhow, uh, there are things that we really need to correct in our families, and if we don't get that correction, then again we will be in a place where there is no opportunity to grow. We have to look at self. Once you do a self assessment and you really figure out where you are as a person, as an adult, as a human, we can change the circumstance. So, um, family is definitely one of the elements that we're lacking. If we don't get together again, I'm gonna reiterate: family is more than just a blood relative. Family could be your friend, an associate at work who has that type of compassion and love and respect. There are so many elements that make up family beyond being blood relatives. Again, dialogue is missed in our households. We don't share dialogue. It's more of a demanding thing. It's more of you do as I say, not as I do. When children learn from what they see, experience sometimes is the best teacher. You have children who can learn from getting that certain direction, but ultimately they're going to watch your movement. They're going to watch how you operate, how you do things. I think we get lost in a storm with that. You know, it's basically like I'm gonna tell you this, that. I'm gonna keep pointing the finger at something I don't want you to do, but yet and still I don't watch my behavior when I'm around. And if you don't pay attention to your behavior, then what is a child gonna do? They're gonna emulate everything that they saw. Whether uh, you smoke around your children, sometimes later on they become smokers. You drink around your children, sometimes they'll become drinkers. I mean, just an array of things that we should pay attention to. So, this family thing goes deep because, again, I think we could clear up a lot of the turmoil that we experience if we had those close family ties. We need that. That is truly uh, element that we're missing. Again, I really don't care what ethnicity you are because ultimately we still deal with the same issues. A lot of this stuff is not publicized, um, and a lot of it is not in place to whereas we have certain outlets. I commend anybody that's working on their family, that's working as a team to create a productive child. I mean, again, it's hectic for us out here right now. It seems like violence is consuming everything. and we just don't know which way to go. I mean, people don't really take the time to uh, be there for the next person because they're dealing with their own things, of course. But sometimes a kind word could go so far; it can go a long way. And I'm just a little frustrated on the state of our people right now because, again, we where is the compassion for others? There's no broad array of compassion going on right now. We living in chaos. The family's in chaos. Uh, Again, I'm gonna salute these single mothers. I'm gonna salute the fathers that's active in their children's lives. That's co-parenting with those people with those ladies that they made those babies with. That you gotta appreciate that because there's so many that aren't. I used to hear the term when I was growing up, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. And I really didn't understand that till I got to a certain age. And because I didn't internalize that, I didn't go out here when I did indulge in sexual activity. I didn't go out here saying, okay, well, I'm gonna impregnate this lady and her and do that. I made sure that I learned something about myself so that I didn't spread my seed around because you can't be too many places at one time, you know. And children need things. By assessing my own childhood, it allowed me to say, okay, this is not what I want to do to a child. And not that I had a bad upbringing, my upbringing was pretty cool. I wouldn't change anything about the way I was taught how to respect and show love and compassion and camaraderie, just all the things I learned. And I learned a lot from even some of my neighbors. Yeah, I had uncles that were there. I had a grandfather that was there. He taught me the essence of family and how to take care of your family and do different things. I can't admit I'm not perfect. Um, I've had some things in my life to whereas I might not have lived up to someone else's standard, but I've always been the type of guy who would say, you know, this is right and wrong. You shouldn't follow that. You should go that way. You know, I'm not going to lead you into a disaster. I'd rather see you do productive things in your life so that you can have an abundant life, even though, I might not have been doing all the things I should have been doing in my teenage years, but I was educated to know right from wrong. And I think if we again come together to kind of share our experiences, to kind of share the things that allowed us to be productive adults with these children, then we have we won't have so much turmoil. So again, family is very, very important. It is very important. Like I said, just touching on even relationships. If you dating someone and you have children, and those people are going to be around your children, they should give your children some type of insight. They should be some type of positive force or reinforce some things that you said. And I don't mean forcibly, I mean by sharing the insight. So if you're sharing insight with your child and you're dating someone, they should back you up on that particular topic or whatever it may be. Um, if you're dealing with people who can't add to your life and they take away, then you need to reassess who you are. You can't blame someone else for the things that you allow yourself to put up with. And especially if you have children. Again, I know we don't put priority on uh, circumstances that are very important. We like to do whatever we want to do. That's the reality of this thing. We like to do whatever we want to do, and it's fine being an adult. But think about those decisions you made that affect others. So If I share with you that I want my child to follow this rule, and we're in a situation where we co-parent, I would expect you to respect those wishes. You may not be thinking about that. You may be tuned into doing something else, or you may be having some issues that day. But just recognize those children didn't ask to be here. That was a circumstance that you and that other person created, and you are responsible for that. Take that responsibility. Again, they didn't ask to be here. Those are decisions that were made by two consenting adults. And whatever that circumstance, you know what we indulge in, what those consequences are. Um, the whole idea is that when you have sex, of course, man invoked birth control, but you know the whole purpose of sex is to bring forth life, bring forth your own kind. So you know what will happen if you do that. Now we might take it for granted, um, and indulge in those activities, and it's pleasurable, and that's fine. But ultimately, if a life, excuse me, ultimately, if a life comes about, there are certain responsibilities that we both have to handle, and you have to just accept that. So there's a breakdown in the family structure. Um, the breakdown is not having those conversations, and we have to have those conversations. Um, you don't have those conversations, then you got to figure it out on your own. And most times that doesn't turn out well for us. So, family definitely is important. It's a great thing to have camaraderie with your family. I can remember so many things from my childhood that, I always wanted my cousins over, you know, I always wanted to, we had so much fun growing and doing things together. And it's like you grow up, you attain your own set of problems, and that's what you caught up in. You lose that element. We can say so much like about, well, my dad is he's at work all the time. He has nothing to say to us when he gets home. This and that. We overstand the stresses of this life. We overstand that everybody is not built to deal with the circumstances that they put themselves in. But you got to be in a place to where you have growth and learn. And when you know better, you do better. So let's try to come together with your other family members and people that you love in your life, and just dialogue. Share some dialogue to see how you can affect your nephew's life or your niece's life or your neighbors' children's lives. Let's see how we can put some positive elements and add some type of substance to someone else, even if you don't have your own children, even if you do. Again, I'm gonna go back to the term: it takes a village to raise a child. So the things that we lack, man, we have them right inside of us. This is a journey that we all gonna experience, um, living this life. If you love the life you live, then you definitely have to be in a place where as you affect others, and you want to affect others in a positive way. So I'm just saying that I hope that we all can get together and just share a thought, just share something that will allow us to thrive. I don't see these circumstances changing anytime soon, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we look at ourselves as individuals, because the only way to come together as a collective is to individually self-assess, get those things out that may be of a hindrance to you, and then we can put our efforts together with other people. So, there's no handbook on this. Okay. Um, Again, learning yourself is the best way to be able to deal with others. And the only way to come together as a family is to take the selfishness out of it. You continue to deal with the selfishness, then there's no hope at all. So let's keep putting ourselves in a place to whereas we can grow and we can help the next generation to grow and be better than yourself. I've always been told, yeah, if you do things or whatever, you want your children to be better than you. There's no need for jealousy. There's no need for a mother to be a friend of a child. At this time, you're a parent. Yeah, you can have those conversations and give that direction, but a parent is a parent. You can't befriend your child at this time in their lives. You have to be in a place where you're understanding and they open up to you and able to discuss things with you, and you want to be able to trust them. But you have to recognize that you're a parent first. And once you can get to the place where you recognize that you're a parent, you can talk to that child, um, you can give that direction to that child. They're going to take that stuff with them. I'm living testament of that. So let's put more focus on loving each other and come together as family, even if we don't have that mother father circumstance in the home. Again, there's uncles, cousins, neighbors, uh, other mentors, teachers. There's different elements that will allow you to get that sense of family. Um, we've had so many things that have taken place that this society has had against certain people, or maybe even all. I don't want to kind of sound like I'm marginalizing this thing, because again, this is a human experience, and we all have uh, certain situations that have taken place that doesn't allow a father in the home, or even sometimes these days a mother's not in the home. So let's come together where we can put aside our petty differences and see how we can uh, bring strongholds to our families, bring strongholds so that we influence the next generation to know family is pertinent to your life. Having those people who love you and care for you dearly and want to see you do better, that is very important, especially in the time that we're living in now. So that's just a few things I want to touch on as far as reclaiming the family. Um, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Again, we've been down for a couple weeks uh, due to we had to make some adjustments, and we still making adjustments to this. Um, the Grown Man podcast is each and every Thursday where we'll be touching on different topics um, that just make you think. We want to make you think. We want to make you um, look at self. Self-assess. That's the whole thing to this life. Self-assessing and making adjustments to yourself. So um, I thank you all again for tuning in. Check out the Grown Man podcast each and every Thursday. I'm your host, Madman D. I will have some better lighting next week um, with no interruptions. Uh, Thank you. Have a good night. Peace.